VOP.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264, VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
My name is Tao Familoni, and here is to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
My name is Made Kuti, and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People Television, where your health has a voice.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Well, hello and welcome to News Hour on Voice of the People TV. I am Vivian Oguche.
And I am Nenna Ndomdioto. Before we begin, kindly visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. First, the headlines. Buratai says military's internal security role weakening police.
Falano demands detained officers' release or trial.
Fayose warns ADC may become empty without OB.
Mossop plays Fubara's impeachment move as assault on Tinubu.
Housing Ministry budgets 91.7 billion naira for capital projects.
Sanwo-Olu and residents mourn Akron of Badagry.
On the foreign scene, Republican Senator backs move to block Trump's Fed nominees.
While in business news, MBS adjusts CPI method and explains December inflation spike.
In sport, fitness boost as Ndidi walks pain-free amid for Eagles injury lists.
Well, in entertainment news, Rema, Burna Boy, Charlie Poppy and others win big.
Now the news in detail. Former Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai has warned that the military's increasing involvement in internal security duties is weakening the Nigerian police force and other civilian security agencies. Speaking at the 2026 Armed Forces Celebrations and Remembrance Day lecture in Abuja, Buratai said the military's widespread presence across the country is eroding the growth and effectiveness of the police and internal intelligence institutions, which should lead internal security operations. According to the former Army chief, military personnel are currently deployed nationwide, including in the Federal Capital Territory, in support of internal security duties. He added that this provides short-term stability, but undermines the capacity of civilian security agencies in the long run.
Well, still on insecurity, a Benin High Court has remanded 52 individuals, including students of Ambrose Ali University in the Obiaja Correctional Center for malicious damage and armed robbery. The individuals were charged after they were accused of participating in a peaceful protest over insecurity that turned violent on Saturday. The suspects were arraigned by Police Counsel P.O.O. Jones through an ex parte motion. However, many of the arrested students said they were not part of the protest. Justice William Azigbemi, who presided over the case, cited lack of jurisdiction and advised the defendants' counsel to file bail applications at the Obiaja High Court. The case has been adjourned to February 26, 2026 for hearing.
Still in Edo State, a wave of insecurity in Ekpoma has continued to stir concern across the state following the weekend protest by youth and residents over the rising cases of kidnapping in the university town. Men in Benin City have reacted with alarm, expressing fear that the escalating situation could spread to other communities if urgent action is not taken. Correspondent Rhoda Journey reports the residents described the latest incident as a threat to public safety and called on authorities to intensify security measures to protect lives and property.
The weekend protest by youth and residents in Ekpoma over rising cases of kidnapping has continued to generate reactions across Edo State, with residents of the state capital expressing concern over the worsening security situation in the university town. In street interviews, respondents described the Ekpoma situation as alarming, warning that the web of insecurity is creating fear and could spread to other communities if urgent action is not taken.
The ex-military men, ex-policemen, those people that have retired, they should ask them questions. Because most of the kidnapping going on, you will just hear after the police checking point, you will see they will kidnap. After the police checking army point, you will see they will kidnap. So they have to do a thorough investigation of those ex-servicemen.
What they are experiencing in Ekpoma is too bad. The kidnapping is too much. These terrorists, they don't know anywhere. We are bad to ourselves. If I'm in my village now, anybody that comes, I know my village people. They collaborated with all these people. They take ransom from them. They show them road. After ransom, or they go and pay homage to these people. That is all we are lacking now. We are killing ourselves.
The government is trying, but they cannot be using insecurity to fight insecurity. The government itself, Senator Modokebo, have tried to fight insecurity. As far as Edo Central and Edo North per se, it's not much in Edo South. But what they have done is not expected of such students who are mature. You are correct, because if you don't say here, nobody will say there you are. Because the people there, it says, I don't know, I can't fish out them, I cannot suspect them, but everybody there is a suspect. Actually, it cannot be happening Ekpoma every now and then. So I don't know. They should at least appreciate the governor for now. That's what I mean.
The governor has assured that measures are being taken to tackle the menace and strengthen security in Ekpoma and surrounding communities.
We have been doing a lot. And before this ugly situation happened, we had planned something. Security is secret, and I'm not supposed to say it to anybody, and we are still going to carry it out. These people will leave our forests if they are there. Ekpoma, Ishan will not be a safe place for them. We will leave no stone unturned. We have technology. The first one we carried out was very successful. The next day, they came up with sentiment, protest, looting. This is not acceptable. We must make sure that we bring these people to book.
Rhoda Johnny, VOP TV News.
Rhoda, thank you. Meanwhile, human rights lawyer Femi Falana has raised concerns over the prolonged and continued detention without formal charge of the over 40 military officers alleged of coup plot against President Bola Tinubu in October 2025, while still denying them access to legal counsel, stating that they are presumed innocent until proven otherwise by the state, asked the federal government and military authorities to release or formally arraign them. Falana stressed that while he opposes any unconstitutional attempt to overthrow the government, the law requires that if there is evidence of their involvement in a coup plot, they should be arraigned before special courts martial or general courts martial in accordance with the relevant laws. According to reports, about 16 senior military officers are being interrogated over the allegation, even though the Nigerian military has denied a coup report, claiming that the arrests were part of a routine exercise to address indiscipline and service breach. Also, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, affirmed the government's confidence in the military, dismissing the coup reports as false and praising the armed forces for their commitment to national security.
Away from that report, former Governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayose, has asked the African Democratic Congress, ADC, to present the former Governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, as his presidential candidate for the 2027 general election, warning that the party could become irrelevant if it fails to do so. Speaking in a local television program, Fayose described Obi as the only political figure capable of giving the ADC national relevance, stating that other personalities within the party lack the electoral appeal required for a meaningful impact at the polls. The former governor stated that Obi is the life in ADC, while others are largely spent forces. He argued that Obi's political influence goes beyond party structures, noting that his popularity was clearly demonstrated during the 2023 general election. Fayose recalled that in that election, the Labour Party, which was previously regarded as fringe, won several seats in the National Assembly on the back of Obi's candidacy, which he said instantly transformed the party's electoral fortunes.
Well, still on politics and governance, the Movement for the Survival of Ogoni People, MOSUP, has expressed worries over the moves to impeach the governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, describing it as a direct assault on President Bola Tinubu. MOSUP noted that the decision of the lawmakers to get the governor out of office could destabilize the state and slow down the gains achieved in the resolution of the Ogoni problems through the Office of the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. While calling on the lawmakers to discontinue the impeachment proceedings, MOSUP said the move was a direct assault on the president's mediation efforts in Rivers' recent political crisis. Speaking on the impeachment notice served on the governor and his deputy last Thursday, President of MOSUP, Begalom Suki, said the sudden attempt to impeach the governor questions the Assembly's loyalty to President Tinubu, given that he has been personally involved in resolving the Rivers State crisis on several occasions.
We now move on to Benue State, where pensioners have given the state government a 14-day ultimatum to clear the pension arrears and gratuities inherited from past administrations or face a peaceful protest. The state chapter of the Nigeria Union of Pensioners made a demand in a letter addressed to Governor Hyacinth Alia, saying that demands include the pension arrears and gratuities inherited from past administrations, which comprise 96 months for local government pensioners and 42 months for state pensioners. The union's chairman, Michael Vembe, and secretary, Sate Burr, warned that if the government fails to meet their demands, they will embark on a peaceful protest.
Well, away from Benue State, the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development plans to spend 91.7 billion naira on capital projects out of its total allocation of 97.077 billion naira for the 2026 fiscal year. According to the ministry's budget estimates, the Renewed Hope Housing Scheme was allocated 8.05 billion naira, while 3.7 billion naira was earmarked for the ongoing national housing program across the country. Other projects covered by the capital allocation include the construction of prototype housing units in Suleja in Niger State and Ikorodu in Lagos State, for which 2.1 billion naira was provided. Also proposed, among others, is 1.6 billion naira for the inner roads and building infrastructure for the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, LAUTECH, as well as solar power provision and connection to selected flood-ravaged areas in Itire, Ogunye, in Lagos.
In another development, the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, says the total rehabilitation of the 10 million bridge in Lagos State cost 43 billion naira and an additional 2.5 billion naira for its closed circuit television camera CCTV center. Umahi, who spoke to newsmen in Lagos, disclosed that the scope of work covered total rehabilitation of 2 carriageways at 14 kilometers by 14 meters width. He explained that the work also included rebuilding and repainting some concrete works and replacing expansion joints and installing solar lights. According to him, the establishment of the CCTV center was part of the bridge's rehabilitation contract. He stated that at the inception of the President Bola Tinubu administration in 2023, the government met the third mainland bridge, Kata Bridge, and Ido Bridge in terrible state on the pavement, surface, infrastructure above and below the water.
Well, joining us virtually to analyze these stories is public affairs analyst Amobi Yegboro. Amobi, such a pleasure to have you join us. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, sir. Now, former Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai has warned that the military's increasing involvement in internal security duties is weakening the Nigerian police force and other civilian security agencies. I don't know, Amobi, if you can start by walking us down memory lane. The police force, yesteryears compared to what we have now. Do you in any way agree with Buratai that the police force has been weakened?
In the 70s and 80s, the military were restricted to the barracks. When we were younger, you hardly see any military man on the street. Once you see a military man on the street, you begin to wonder what the issues might be. At that time, the police were, essentially doing what they are supposed to do. You know as well as I do that the military is for territorial integrity of the country, while the police is saddled with the internal security of the country. But because of the militarization of governance, the military has become a willing tool in the hands of politicians. The military has been so much politicized that you cannot, really divorce the military from politics. I'm at a loss that this is coming from Buratai, because as a former Chief of Army Staff, he was at the saddle of this. And, in Nigeria, one problem is that once you leave office, it's like you are now beginning to see clearer the picture, as it were. I think the police, have been so emasculated. When you see a military and the police, it's really like seeing a military and the police will, of course, respect, as it were, the military, the army, more than the police, because they have a very stronger cohesion, of course, cohesion than the police. The police has been so, vilified, as it were, that they do not possess, they no longer command the respect they used to. So I'm not surprised that it is coming from Buratai. I agree with him to a large extent, but the point of departure is, why has this thing persisted? Why has it so persisted that the police can no longer hold on their own? See, in terms of support and what have you been to any police station recently? The environment is something else. Have you also been to the barracks of the Navy, the Air Force, and probably the Army?
No.
You see that the thing is contrast. There's a lot of contrast. So the other time, about how many years ago, there was a documentary on the police, in Lagos here, and the thing now, gave some favorable response, and then government decided to look into the matter with a view to uplifting the environment where the police resides and all that. So it is very, very important that the police must be given their due place in civilian governance. The military is for territorial integrity, while the police is saddled with internal security. Until we begin to see police in that light, then this problem that Buratai has expressed will continue.
Okay, one of the things that I heard you say was that the funding for the police is quite different from what we have in the counterpart as the military. But I want to ask you, though you've spoken a bit about it, but we needed to talk more about it. How was the way forward? How can we move away from this issue that Buratai has actually raised? How can we begin to have our police stay on the internal security which they are known for and they are meant for?
Yeah, the police should be well equipped. I've just given you a striking difference between the police and the military. The police should be equipped. Going into a police station, the whole place is highly dilapidated, unkept, and what have you. You have benches instead of seats. You don't even have writing materials. When problems come, the police will ask you for money, or you got to bring your own paper for you to write a statement. The whole place, if you get into the place, you see generators. Who fuels the generator? Have you seen the police vehicles recently? These are the vehicles that they are supposed to use to chase robbers and criminals. These vehicles are not in the very good shape. So I think it is not just funding. The other thing is human capacity development of the Nigerian police should also be enhanced. If you sometime in the past saw some people carrying 6 inches mattress and a rubber bucket, they say they're policemen that are going for training. Of course, when you want to train them, they will also buy their own materials and all that. So it's a whole gamut of inadequacies, in the police. There is need for the police to step up, the authorities, the police commission, the government, to step up funding and training of the Nigerian police so that they will command respect within the citizenry. When you look at the armed forces, police inclusive, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Army, if you rank them in the hierarchy, the police is below. So I think there must be some, concerted efforts and intention to prop up the police force so that they can play their role, constitutional role in the country's developmental stride.
Before we let this matter go, Amebui, analysts like yourself, they keep bringing up the case of the Maitasini sect in the 80s and how Buhari used the police force actually, to quash the Maitasini uprising. So my question now is, the police actually is not a toothless bulldog, is it? It's got potentials if it is well harnessed.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. I concur with your assertions. The police, if trained very well, can hold on their own. There are very fine police officers, very educated police officers who can hold on their own. But the circumstances surrounding will always almost make them look as if they do not know what they are doing. There are fine police officers. What they need is pure motivation. Motivation is the name of the game. We see, even if we are not living, in diaspora, we see some of their policemen, even the way they act. We see some Nigerians that are in US police, in British police, how they are kept, how clean they are, how respected they look like and all that. So it is a question of trying to motivate the policemen. You can get the best out of them.
Okay, let's move on to Benin, to Edo State, where a Benin High Court has remanded 52 individuals, of course, including students of Ambrose Ali University in the Obiaja Correctional Center, and they were accused of malicious damage and armed robbery. However, these individuals were charged after they were accused of participating in a peaceful protest. So it seems like those protesters were now the ones that are now being accused of this. So what do you make of this? Protesters are now being charged for malicious damage and armed robbery. You know, it's like, and some of these protesters are actually saying that they were not even part of the protest. So what do you make of this incident? It looks like there are some persons who are actually innocent are being arrested for things that are not a part of.
That is the system we find ourselves, unfortunately. You know, the authorities that be will almost always, look for soft spots. And when they see the real criminals, they shy away from their responsibility. This is a clear case of the Nigerian situation. The governor is, overwhelmed, as it were, by what is going on, but he is also concentrating on giving Mr. President 2.5 million votes. Let's first governance first. 2.5 million votes from where? You know what I'm saying? It's as if there is 2.5 million votes stuck somewhere that the governor will give Mr. President, while the state is boiling. It is very, very unfortunate. The Nigerian system, tolerates this type of thing. Now, protest is the normal thing in a democracy. Now, unfortunately, this is because the police or the authorities will always want to, achieve cheap political points by telling us that they have arrested so and so person. Now the criminals are not arrested. If you take a census, if you take a profile, they are protesters. And protest is enshrined in our constitution, it's constitutional. When things are not going on well, people are meant about government policies at a particular point in time. So it is not a crime, but we almost always criminalizes protests in Nigeria, which is wrong. So I think the government should, try and sieve, those people that have been arrested and identify the real criminals and let go those people that are, normal protesters.
Very well said, Amobi. Identify the criminals and let the peaceful protesters go. It is important to note that according to reports that was brought to us by our correspondent in Benin, that this peaceful protest over insecurity turned violent on Saturday. And one of the charges against them is that of malicious damage. I just wanted for us to know that that's how the case is at the moment. But let's talk about what Femi Falana, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, is saying at the moment, right? You remember, Mobi, once upon a time, in fact, it was last year, when we had reports of a coup d'etat, an attempt at regime change that actually did not pan out. Now, the army has come out to say over and over again that there was no coup d'etat. And of course, the federal government has kept mum on that particular matter. But human rights lawyer Femi Falana has raised concerns over the prolonged and continued detention without formal charge of over 40 military officers alleged of coup plots against President Bola Tinubu in October 2025, while still denying them access to legal counsel. So if there was no coup d'etat, how come officers have been arrested over a coup plot? So I don't know what you make of this, even though the army has come out to say that, look, these officers were arrested over disciplinary issues and not over a coup d'etat. What's your take? Are you there, Amobi? Well, we seem to have lost connection with Amobi Hegoro, but we will try to reconnect with him. In the meantime, we'll take a short break. All right, looks like we're not
being economical with it.
Amobi,
I said the problem with the Nigerian states. Hello?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
I'm here. I can hear you.
Go ahead, sir.
Hello? I said economical with the truth. If there is a coup d'etat, own up that there is a coup d'etat, and then deal with it the way it's supposed to be dealt with. If there is no coup d'etat, for goodness sake, release those military officers. So if there are coup d'etat, just like Femi Falana suggested, appropriately, and then let them defend themselves instead of incarcerating them. Of course, a coup d'etat is against the state. It's a felony. It's not tolerated. The government has a state, Nigerian state has a stated way of changing government, which is through election. So if anyone, participates in coup and you are caught, of course you face the music. But a situation where, we are not, people are saying allegedly that there was a coup, but the government is saying no, this is routine. How can you now put people behind the bars on a routine matter? So it's not true. It's not correct. So let the government come clean, just like the Reverend SAN has said. Charge them to court, and then they take it off from there.
Oh, okay. Some persons have actually said that some security matters are very sensitive matters, and the government of the federation should actually not say some things. So, at what point do we balance transparency and security sensitivity?
That is government way of explaining things away. There is a thin line between, sensitivity in terms of security matters, because government will always hide on that premise that security matters are sensitive matters and begin to, not to give full information. That is what a typical government does, and which is at variance with developed societies. If there is a coup, there is a coup. If there are things you need to discuss openly, you discuss them openly. I am not saying that all matters concerning security should be, in the public space. That's not what I'm saying. But there is a level of balancing, matters that the citizens must know. The citizens have the right to know a lot of things about their country, because that will make them to also follow government, and participate and contribute their own quota towards development of their country. But a situation where government will always hide on that sensitivity clause vis-a-vis security, it's not helping matters either. It's not. So government should open up the communication channels, should be alive to their responsibility, explain things, and then once you explain certain things, you reduce the incidence of rumor, because it is the inability of government to explain policies or issues that give vent to rumor mongering. And once people begin to rumor, it is stamped fake news and all that. So I think government should, be a little bit more responsive in terms of information management.
You're very right. In the scarcity of information, of course, assumptions abound. Let's quickly talk some politics, right? Former Governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayose, has asked the African Democratic Congress, ADC, to present the former Governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, as his presidential candidate for the 2027 general election, warning that the party could become irrelevant if it fails to do so. So my question is double-headed, right? Does Fayose have the right or the moral ground to tell the ADC what to do? On the other hand, do you think, like he has asserted, that Peter Obi is the only hope for the ADC come 2027?
Fayose, whether like him or hate him, he has a right to opinionize as to what is going on in the country. Recall, he was a two-time governor, of Ekiti State. So if he has learned the ropes, he has a lot of information. He's not a member of ADC, but he has given ADC a kind of lifeline, as it were, as to where they should be headed. He is entitled to his opinion. And if you look at the political fervency, in Nigeria today, it favors Peter Obi, as it were. If Peter Obi is likely to give Mr. President a run on the presidency. So, and let us not forget in a hurry, what happened to PDP and where PDP is now. I think Fayose is speaking his mind and perhaps speaking the minds of a lot more Nigerians. He's a politician, he's an astute politician. The political barometer he has used to mirror what is going to happen, has given him the temerity to begin to pontificate as to how ADC should also, conduct herself. Recall also that Ayo Fayose has sympathy for APC also. And it's like, an APC member or PDP member, as the case may be, I do not know where his political leanings lies, but he's also telling you that, look, if you want to make an impact, an appreciable one for that matter, P2B is it. But if you do not want to do that, then the PDP trajectory, is there waiting for you. So what I'm saying in effect is that it is his opinion, and many Nigerians will also share from this opinion of Fayose. So it is not totally out of place. You cannot say that Fayose do not know what he's saying. As an astute politician, as a politician that has seen it all, in the Nigerian context.
All right, before my colleague
his views should be respected. I think it is. Sorry?
Yeah, you can land on that before I ask my next question. You can land on what you were saying.
Yeah, I think Fayose has the right. Yes, I think Fayose has the right to opinionize on the political.
All right, so I was saying before my colleague
political situation in this country.
So you were saying you don't know if he's still in the PDP or the APC. He has been expelled by the Turaki-led faction of the PDP. So apparently,
yes, I do not know.
Yes.
He has been expelled from PDP. His own faction of PDP said he has not been expelled, and he also has sympathy for APC. So you see what is going on. So it is very difficult to place him as it were.
Okay, and then of course, from what he's saying about the ADC, it looks like he has sympathy for ADC as well. So we could actually say it might be a PDP, ADP, and ADC, or PDP, APC, and ADC, and ADC put together. But let's move on to.
You see, this is so fluid now that one can make mistake. It's just like a weekend issue.
Yes.
You don't even know where he is now, because officially has been expelled from PDP, and a whole lot of confusion in the political space in this country. I think we should plead with these politicians to give us back our sanity.
Yeah.
We are losing it, as it were. Let us have back our sanity.
Yes.
The political atmosphere charged up in 2007. Governance has taken a back seat and politics a front seat, which is very, very wrong. It's very, very wrong.
Okay, let's move on to what is happening in Rivers State. The movement for the survival of Ogoni people, MOSAP, has expressed worries over the moves to impeach the governor of the state, and they've described it as a direct assault on the president. We don't have so much time, but quickly speak on this, please. In 1 minute, quickly speak about this and react to this this statement by MOSAP.
My candid opinion is that Wike has gotten to his political zenith. He has gotten to his political zenith. He's nosediving now. I think if I'm to advise Wike, I will ask him to soft pedal and look for a safe landing ground. Because if he continues the way he's going, I think he's going to have a political suicide. It's going to be a political suicide for Wike, because the odds are not there. The odds are against him. Fubara is no longer a member of PDP. He has moved on to APC. He has been given the 001 tag, as it were. The party machinery is in support of him, as it were. So if you look at the whole scenario, Wike is holding the shorter end of the stick. So if I were him, he should look at the political situation. He should calculate well and then begin to soft pedal, because by the time he says Jack Robinson, the train would have left the station.
So that Wike doesn't feel shortchanged, you said he's reached his political zenith, so he should be proud of what he has achieved so far, right? Quickly as we wrap up.
Absolutely. So he's coming down. Any moment from now, he's descending. And that will be political suicide for him. So let him play along and, have his political stature intact. If he pursue this trajectory so much, then that will be his political Waterloo. That is where I look at it.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much, Amobi, for being a part of the News Hour.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, sir. We've been speaking with Amobi Heboro, who is a public affairs analyst. You're still watching the News Hour on Voice of the People television. When we return, we'll tell you more about Sanwo-Olu and residents mourning the Akran of Badagry and more stories. So stay with us.
Welcome back, everyone. And now food prices remain a major concern for many Nigerians, especially market traders who say the cost of basic staples is still too high. In spite of the slight reductions in the prices of rice and other food items, sellers and consumers alike believe that more needs to be done to make food affordable and reduce poverty across the country. In this report from VOP TV's Matthew Ogunsuada, who visited Daleko Market, traders shared their views and expectations from the government.
Third week of the new year, and economic activities are gradually picking up across major markets in Lagos State. Following the holidays, many markets experienced a slowdown as traders and buyers took time to return. However, indications here at the Daleko Market suggest that activities are slowly returning, although not without challenges.
I am at the Daleko Market in Mushin, one of the busiest hubs for food production in Lagos State, to assess the level of business resumption after the New Year's celebrations.
To get a clearer picture of the situation on ground, I spoke with traders to understand when they resume business, how trading has been so far, and how this period compares with the same time last year.
You see, in this market, there is no price control because we are all wholesalers. We buy from different vendors and we bring it here to sell it at our own opinion price. So there is no price control here. There is no price control, and the price that we sell it in December is the same way we sell it in this January here. Now the price has not even go down or go up. It's still the same thing.
Nǹkan tá a fẹ́ níbi ọ̀rọ̀ rice là wà ń tà. A fẹ́ kí gbogbo nǹkan kó lẹ́ rice di 20,000. Àtọwọ́ kẹ́fì tí nǹkan Nàìjíríà ní jíjẹ kó lẹ́sẹ̀ oúnjẹ ní kókó tó jẹ́ wá ti tọ́nú ìṣẹ́bùṣe. Nǹkan tá a fẹ́ nìyẹn. Láàsì ata rice 52,000. 53 year ní oṣù yìí sìn a ti ń ta 50,000 51,000 so kò sí difference kó di 20,000 òun la fẹ́.
Òní last year a ṣì ta 52 55 ó depends lórí nǹkan tí customer bá béèrè. We have long grain and we have short grain. Now à ń ta 50,000 adẹ́ntà 49.5 so ó depends lórí nǹkan tí customer bá béèrè.
òsibí tẹ́ máa dé kíjọba jẹ́ kó ń jẹ́ pọ̀ náà ni tó ń jẹ́ bá ti kó òun ìṣẹ́kù díẹ̀ o irú rice tata ní ọdún ní last year ní ká sọ pé last year ni irú price yẹn àtàrí kí ni nǹkan tá a fi tàrí pé ó wálẹ̀ kò wọ́n jara lọ oníkálukú rà wọ́n gbádùn ẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n kó túbọ̀ wálẹ̀ jù bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn lọ.
The Dalikon market also extends to the automobile industry as traders within this industry share their expectations as the new year begins.
On our own, my own line precisely, which is motor spare parts. You know, it is normally exchange, we buy with exchange rate. Before the spare parts or anything, buying with exchange will come down. It must be as a result of exchange rates. When the exchange rate come down, automatically the spare parts and other things that we import will normally come down. As also in foodstuff, because I almost closer to the Dalikon market here, where they sell foodstuff, rice and gari and other beans. Mostly the pricing system, understand? Before things will get down a bit, like foodstuff, will be as from next month or next 2 months. March precisely.
And like before, like as from last 2-3 years ago, the part I used to sell about like 80 tana, 70 tana. But now this year I sell 120, 130. The original one. So now, like other customers say that it's too cost them to buy. So I say it's not my fault. It's the importer that used to import it from abroad increase it for us. That is the reason why we are selling it in that price. So, but for me, for my own prayer, I pray government to lower in color so that the price will now come down, so that it will be easy then to buy.
From Dalikon market, traders say activities are gradually picking up in the third week of the year, although rising cost and low purchasing power continue to affect business. While urging the government to address inflation, many traders are hopeful that the weeks ahead will bring better patronage and improved market conditions. Matthew Ogunswada, reporting for Voice of the People Television.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and residents of Lagos State have mourned the passing of the paramount ruler of Badagry Kingdom, Oba Babatunde Akran, who died at the age of 89 during a brief illness. The death of the monarch, and who was also the permanent vice chairman of the Lagos State Council of Obas and Chiefs, marked the end of a 48-year reign, making him one of the longest-serving traditional rulers in Lagos State. According to the palace, traditional burial rites commenced after medical experts pronounced him dead. In a statement by Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Gboyega Akoshile, Governor Sanwo-Olu described Akran's passing as a significant loss to Badagry, Lagos State, and Nigeria in general, in view of his remarkable impact as a respected traditional ruler. According to the governor, the late monarch was known for his wisdom, cultural preservation, development advocacy, and selfless service. He commiserated with the people of Badagry and the bereaved family.
Well, the Rivers State Police Command also says it is investigating the tragic death of a family of 6, comprising both parents and 4 children, who allegedly died of fumes inhaled from a power generator at Ogale in the Eleme Council area of the state. Sources said the neighbors raised the alarm after the generator ran throughout the night and into Sunday morning, with an anonymous source saying the family was preparing to return to Port Harcourt after the holidays before the tragedy occurred. Confirming the report, the Rivers State Police spokesperson Grace Iringo Koko said that available information indicated that the generator was inside the living room because the family feared that it might be stolen. However, she noted that investigation was ongoing for more information on the incident.
We'll go for another break now. When we return, we'll bring you more stories. To stay with us. On the foreign scene, United States Senator Lisa Murkowski has backed plans by fellow Republican Tom Tillis to block President Donald Trump's Federal Reserve nominees, citing concerns over the Justice Department's threat to indict Fed Chairman Jerome Powell. Mukasey wrote on X that the stakes are too high to look the other way, adding that if the Federal Reserve loses its independence, the stability of the U.S. market and the broader economy would suffer. Mukasey, who is one of Trump's fellow Republicans willing to vote against his wishes, spoke with Powell, who called the subpoena's pretext aimed at influencing Fed interest rate decisions. Tillis, also a Senate Banking Committee member, vowed to oppose Trump's Fed nominees until the legal matter is resolved, citing concerns over Fed independence.
Well, in business news, the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, has adjusted, its Consumer Price Index, CPI, methodology to clarify a projected spike in Nigeria's December 2025 inflation figure. Addressing a virtual stakeholder engagement on the December 2025 CPI inflation, the Statistician General of the Federation and NBS Chief Executive Officer Adeyemi Adeniran explained that the increase is technical and not indicative of worsening economic conditions. He noted that the projected spike results from the recent CPI rebasing, which adopted 2024 as the new base year, after 15 years from the previous 2009 base. Also, NBS Director of Price Statistics, Ayo Anthony, explained that the use of December 2024 as the index reference month could have exaggerated year-on-year inflation, projecting a figure of 31.2%, which he said does not reflect Nigeria's true economic conditions. Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, Tayo Abduloju, noted that credible inflation data is very important, especially as Nigeria transitions from economic stabilization to consolidation, warning that misinterpreting technical spikes could lead to costly policy mistakes and undermine macroeconomic gains.
We now move on to sports. Super Eagles captain Wilfred Ndidi has been confirmed to walk pain-free after his hamstring strain at the AFCON 2025 quarter-final against Algeria, thereby boosting his chances of early return to fitness. According to Super Eagles media office, Promise Efoge, Ndidi's early signs of recovery were encouraging, though further checks would still be carried out. He disclosed that the medical team would evaluate him again tomorrow to decide whether a scan is necessary, but that the initial indications suggest the injury might not be serious. Regardless of his fitness status, however, Efoge said Ndidi will miss the semi-final match due to his suspension for yellow cards in the round of 16 and quarter-final matches. He also gave an update to Biosho, who has been battling fitness concerns, saying that he was improving steadily and responding well to treatments.
Well, in entertainment news, Nigerian Afrobeat star Rema was the biggest winner at the 9th All Africa Music Awards AFRIMA at the Echo Conventional Center in Lagos on Sunday, winning the Artist of the Year, Best Male Artist in West Africa, and Best African Artist in R&B and Soul. Other top winners included Burna Boy for Album of the Year, Charlie Poppy's La Ho as Song of the Year, and Phyno for Best African Hip Hop Artist. Regional and continental awards went to artists across Africa, including Cote d'Ivoire's Milo and Malaysia for inspirational music, Guinea's Manamba Kante for African pop, and Nigeria's King Madi as most promising artist. BOPTV's Gamano Precious reports. I will never leave your side.
I want to dedicate this award to my audience, my fans. I want to dedicate this to my family. This is so good. I love you. Somebody say Ellen. Somebody say Ellen. I thank God. I thank everyone. I thank my country, Rwanda. God bless you so much. I'm so happy.
Sweet melody. I love you guys so much. I don't know what to say. This is my first time of collecting, So I'm gonna say thank you to my fans. Thank you, Jesus Christ. Thank you, my family, for their prayers. Thank you, my team. Thank you, Chucky. Thank you, G-Sticks is my producer. And all my teams. I love you guys so much. Thank you.
Hello. Ici on parle français, hein? Donc bonsoir tout le monde, French. Nous sommes très contents, c'est la team PA. On tient à dire merci à l'organisation Afrima, merci au Nigeria qui nous a reçus, merci à tous ceux qui nous soutiennent au niveau du pays et gros merci à la Côte d'Ivoire, merci à la jeunesse ivoirienne, grâce à vous et force à la culture africaine. Merci beaucoup, c'est la team PA. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you so much to Afrima for this award. This is an amazing, oh my God. Thank you so much to everyone, to my family, to my team, to the Blunt Records. Thank you to Valorant. Thank you to Afrima in general. This is definitely a representation of where I come from. Everybody there knows that it's possible now, and nothing is impossible. So thank you so much to Afrima. Thank you, Jesus.
Woo! My name is Thank you, Afrima. Thank you, ABC. Good evening, and my name is Moby from Algeria. Viva l'Algérie! 1, 2, 3, viva l'Algérie! Thank you, partner, thank you, family, thank you for collaboration with me. I have collaboration with 70 collaboration. Thank you so much. Thank you, my wife. Thank you for culture. Make some noise for Africa. Culture, please. Thank you, my partner. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, everything. Okay, my name is Mowgli. Play me now.
Good evening, everyone.
Salam alaikum.
As you can see, it takes more than a tree to make a forest. KK and D1, we have a lot of people behind us, producers, songwriters, artists, some of whom are played here. Support of platforms like Ray Power, AIT, the late Dr. Raymond Dokwesi, who urged us to stop playing Notorious B.I.G. Tupac Shakur. He called us and he said, look, find some local African talent and promote them, and they will turn to global stars. And today we have Davido, we have Whiskey, Burna Boy. I'm old school, OG before I came. But Afrima, we want to say a big thank you. Africa Union, thank you for supporting African music. Thank you for supporting our young artists. And for our family and friends that are up here on stage, thank you for the journey. Thank you for encouraging us. We were away from home a lot, and for our wives and our kids and our families, they understood the assignment. Africa is global now, Afrobeat is global, and the result is what you see today. Afrima, thank you for the big honor.
Well, thank you for watching. I am Vivian Oguche.
And I am Nenna Ndomdioto. Thank you.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs the voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Good morning and welcome to VOP This Morning. I am Moses Humphrey, and of course, as things unfold in Nigeria, we bring them to you. I'm not alone on the show. You get to meet the team this morning, and yes, there is an addition to the team this morning. Oh well, very quickly, let's introduce Jane. Jane Ogoye.
Yes.
Good morning to you, Jane.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Thank you.
Jane.
Good morning, guys.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Now, Jane joins the team from today, and